So thanks once again for dropping by the channel. If you like the content, if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe. Share the video if you felt it was useful. Give us a follow on Instagram. It links down in the description below. Just give a shout. You can see what I do in my personal life. Now let's get into this video. So Dave Allen made his return, we'll call it that, it's his comeback to the ring this weekend against Dorian Darch. Now, like I said, he didn't look great. You know, he didn't do much for the first two rounds, and obviously he took Dorian Darch out in the third. And, you know, when you see the knockdown, you know, Dorian Darch, he didn't want to get up. You know, he said no mass. So, you know, the referee waved it off. Now, I'm going to read here because there's actually been some controversy over this, stemming from the third round knockout. And I do remember actually on the broadcast, I'm sorry about the wind, by the way, if you can hear the wind there, but I remember on the broadcast, Sky was saying that Allen was saying, you know, I'm going to get rid of this guy in the third round, or words to that effect. So it says here that Dave Allen's controversial win over Dorian Darch is now being investigated after a string of suspicious bets on the third round knockout. Now I'm reading here, this is from The Sun. It says here that the British Boxing Board of Control and the Gambling Commission have begun an investigation over allegations, of suspicious betting activity. The heavyweight clash at the Sheffield Arena on Saturday was a bizarre bout with favourite Dave Allen coasting through the opening two rounds, which he did before blitzing the journeyman in the third. Darch managed to beat one count but returned to the canvas moments later. He beat the first count, but then the second count he just decided no mass. A turnaround win for the Doncaster man, opened with the bookies at 9-2, but was so heavily backed it ended at evens. Okay. Sun Sport understands Sky Bet were the first bookmakers to notice a concerned spike in the bets on the sixth rounder of Sky Sports fight, and they alerted their competitors. At around 5:30 p.m, a couple of hours before the fight, the industry noticed an extraordinary surge of lays on the exchange on the specific round at a series of high street stores all over the country. British Board of Control Secretary Rob Smith confirmed to Sunsport on Monday afternoon that the Commission had contacted him with their concerns and an investigation is underway. And the fans were sharing and commenting on the clip of the fight appeared to urge, where Darch appeared to urge Dave Allen on before a soft looking left hook started his demise. Now, before I carry on reading there, okay, I was watching this fight on my own, but I was texting one of my mates, Niall O'Connor, and he said to me that he thought that was a dive. You know, and at the time we weren't watching it together, he was watching it in his house, but at the time we were both watching it live, we didn't really suspect anything, and he turned around to me like on WhatsApp and sent me a voice note saying that looked like a dive. And then it was only when I looked, and I'd already recorded my video at the time, and it's only when I went back and looked at it, I was like, yes, it did look like a dive. So it says on Twitter, civil engineer Darch replied to the accusations, should have chuckled a couple of quid on myself if I knew, LOL. People are nuts, get hit, down once, get back up, get wobbled to my boots with a left hook, but still dull, I think he means done, still done enough to try and act hard and to pretend not to be hurt and calling him out. This is just basically him trying to give himself just basically a reprimand. So essentially what's being said in here is that they suspect that Dave, now I'm not making any accusations, okay, but you have to believe that fights do get fixed all the time. That's something that goes on, you know, whether people want to admit it or not, that's something that goes on. You do see fighters go down from fairly innocuous shots. I can't remember the guy's name, but it was an Australian fighter a couple of years ago. I think he was like a super middleweight or something like that. What was his name? I think he might even fought Roy Jones. There was videos on YouTube where you can see a punch didn't even land, and the guy he was fighting, who I think they were mates at the time, went down. That was only like 30 seconds into the fight. So that was clearly, you know, some stuff was going on there. So you have to imagine that fights do get fixed. I mean, go back to boxing in the 1930s and stuff like that. Boxing was just awash with fixed fights. You know, you look at guys like Primo Carnera, he was bought and sold by the mob. You know, there was fights that I think I remember actually, I'm showing my kind of boxing history here. I remember there was because I love kind of boxing history. there was a light heavyweight called Tommy Loughran. Just go look this guy up. He's called the Philadelphia Phantom. And he fought Primo Carnera for a world title back in the 30s. And he was quoted as saying that a part of the agreement, this was a 15-round fight, he said part of the agreement was you lose this fight on points or you stop Primo Carnera. There's no in between. The only way you can win is to knock him out. And Tommy Loughran had he's something like 150 fights and he only knocked out like 10 guys. So he had no power. So obviously went to points, lost the fight. And he even said it himself, he won every round, but it was fixed. That was the way it was. So you got to imagine stuff like that happens. And with Dave Allen, we know he's had gambling issues in the past. So, I'm asking the question, do you think it was a fixed fight? He certainly went down very innocuously. Like, when I looked at the hook, I thought, okay, maybe Dave Allen was just heavy-handed. But when I look back at it, it's like, he did go down fairly innocuously. Obviously the shot landed, but, who knows? So, those are my thoughts on this. I'm asking the question. I'm just asking the question. I'm not making any accusations, of course. But what did you think? What did you think about that fight? I think I might have even seen people in the comment section of my post-fight video saying that fight looked fixed. If I go back and read some of them, because I do read the comments, but I upload pretty much every day, so a lot of new comments end up knocking the old ones back. So, those are my thoughts on this. It's an interesting one. Let me know your thoughts down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, of course, if you are new. And as always, I will talk to you after.